How's it going, eh? You'll have to bear with me. It's been a crazy morning. My laying hens were squawking at 5 in the morning. A lot of fuss and went out, and I was greeted by a family of skunks, 5 of them. Six of them, 5 of them and 6 babies. So I videoed them, followed them coming across the road. And I moved this, and all the fuss that was going on, I ended up not moving my hose to supply the water, and I broke the end of my quick connect. So I just had to change that. Anyway, so I'm going to move this back. There is a spot back there where I hadn't moved it to, just one spot. Anyway, so I'm going to show you how it goes again. These are my anchors. Pull them out. Try not to shake the camera too much. Oh. One in each corner. And then just to keep her down in case the wind comes along and decides to blow it away. Now, the skirting, 1.5 inch skirting, got at my local co-op. It was quite expensive, actually. Like 18 feet of it cost me, taxes and all, $73. I'm going to have to put this one up because I'm going to pull it back. So, let's put them up. These hooks are just made out of some metal hangers. Now, I take my trusty rope here and hook it into the holes where the rebar anchors went. And just hook onto it here. Now I can do this one-handed. Going quite a ways here. Come on, honey. And there we go. Whew. I might not have shown you hauling it that far, except that I would have had to reroute my hose to get over where I was. Oops. Let's go get our anchors. Just have been working out, making videos. This might not work in your area. I just have topsoil and sand below me. So I have no problem. This was my solution. You might have to go with something different. I had envisioned making all retractable anchors, screw anchors. I just used my electric drill to drive into the ground. I would have had nuts on top. Oops, I didn't need to do that. So. I'm winded. It's been a morning. All right. Let me just flip that skirting down. Let the hooks go. With a family of skunks around, protection becomes important, even though I've never had any trouble. The only trouble I've had is with two-legged animals. They seem to think it's funny, over the fence and different things. Anyway, so here's a description. This used to be we called my area garage in a box. And I had gotten it for nothing. Took it down someplace 100 miles away or more. I got it for free for taking it down. So I was going to use it for storage building. Get a new cover for it or make a new cover. But I kind of looked at it this spring and I could see a chicken tractor in it. So I removed the legs that were 38.5 inches longer. And I raised up this bar that would be at the bottom. There's usually a flap glued to the tarp that goes over the garage in the box, and those pipes run through it. That's part of the system that holds the tarp on. And anyway, so I just moved these right to the bottom. And on the end here, this is pipe I had gotten from our waste watch. And this is some pipe that was off an old deck swing. This is some pipe. This vertical piece is off of something I got years ago from our waste watch. So I welded this pipe together, these three pieces, and then I welded it here. I was going to make a clamp, but I decided against it. It was just too much work. So it's welded to the side of that clamp. If I need to take it apart for some crazy reason. And so these vertical pieces, they're just welded at the bottom, welded at the top. That may not be something you're capable of. I'm sure you can make it out of wood. And the chicken wire that wraps around it, it's just held on with some heavy duty wire that I had gotten someplace. I picked up some steel. There was a little bits of wire laying there in the ground amongst the junk, so I took it with the steel that I took off. I transitioned over here to the mechanics wire because that stuff is a nightmare to work with. It's really hard. It would slow me down. So you could probably go with something a little less hard to work with. Chicken wire, I just put it up against the end, and it's held on here with hog rings. Have you ever heard tell of them? They use them here a lot in the fishing industry. And I just put one here every so often, and then fitted it on the end. Once the ends were done, I stretched the chicken wire, 1-inch chicken wire, across, and you can see I wired it right in here, and that took a lot more work. But I had something solid to wire too, so it runs up 4 feet from the base up to right about here. So you come around to this end, it's the same thing, 3 pieces of pipe welded together. I took this extra vertical pieces here, I welded in the same. I made this door. A friend of mine, Kenneth, gave me this 1-inch, heavy-duty 1-inch galvanized wire. He had it for 30 years, I guess. It was in the woods, and he pulled it out with his tractor. And he gave me a whole bunch of good stuff that was probably 24 or 27 feet long. But this was scraps, and it was all in a big ball, and I took it and I drug it out of the pile that he brought down full of clay and everything else, and put it on his trailer and brought it down here for me. And I straightened it out. I cut it up in manageable pieces, and then I took it to my driveway and beat on it with a short handle maul and straightened it out. And then I welded it on the back side, just spot welded it here and there along. And so you could probably do this if you wanted to. You could probably make this out of wood in your situation, but this is what I did. This was an afterthought. I welded this little piece of tubing in here because I made this too tight to get the chicken wire around. And I wanted to get this done up right. I just had it half-assed before. You can see I kind of fuss with things. So the tarp over top is, I got that at Princess Auto. And the reason I got the brown is because I thought that it would, protect the hens better, keeping the heat out, because it's darker. I could have gotten one at Canadian Tire that it was green and it was a little more translucent. I thought this, and they were roughly the same price. The one in Princess Auto was $1 more because the one at Canadian Tire was on sale, but you can see it's complete junk, You see this, like the weave these horizontal pieces are here, but the weave stops, and you see a tore there. So this is all going to go to heck. It's been on here maybe a month, maybe a little longer. See, it's already shredding. The first good wind we get, it'll be gone. So part of being frugal is learning from your mistakes and buying better next time. So I could show you the interior. You can see it from here without getting in with the hands. You can see the wire running across the two middle frames. It runs from the side support, runs up to a half link welded to the top, and then over to the other side. And that's just to hold it together. You know, these frames, it's bolted together, but it used to flop a little more before I put the middle legs on. It sits on top of a 16-foot long piece of 5/4 or 4/5 inch pressure treated decking, and that's not pressure treated like the old days. That's copper infused. Excuse me. Mosquito flew in my mouth. They're terrible here. That's yeah, it's copper infused, so there's nothing toxic about it. Not like the old days. And these feet, I made these extra 4 feet for the bottom. There's usually an L piece that goes on the ends, you know, and that goes down this way, and it has a cable and a screw that goes into the ground, a ground anchor, and that holds it down on the ends. Or these would be in the middle. So I put these on the ends, and then eventually I took one off, and I had some metal from an old snowblower, and I just set it on top of that. You know, it was metal, where the gear shift is, and I just set them on top of it with a marker, and I traced them out, you know, fitting them in, and got 4 of them out of easily. Cut them out with an angle grinder, and I took a piece of tubing, cut it on an angle, and then MIG welded it onto the bottom, shoved that up underneath. This one isn't even fastened in. The other ones are fastened with sheet metal screws on the ends. This is just pushed up underneath, and then one bolt holding it on the decking. So what else? As I was saying, you know, this is easy for me to pull, especially if I'm using 2 hands and not one holding a camera. But like I said, it took every bit of that 50-foot roll to do this thing. Every bit. There's just a few scraps left. As you can see, I didn't have enough to do this in the same direction as the others. Look at this. Here comes the truck. Can't believe I made it this long. Anyway, so I fussed with it and weaved it all in here. And so my point was, the truck didn't bother me too much. I thought we were going to stop and talk for a second. My point is that this is 15 by roughly a little over 9 in the ends. It would have been 15 by 10 originally, I guess, or something like that, with the legs on the bottom. So my point is that it took every bit of that 50-foot roll. So, you know, you might have to, if you're going to make a door for it, you might have to buy some extra. And if you decide you want to make this thing full height so you can stand up in there and not bump your head, believe me, the hens won't care because they're not going to hit their heads. And, well, you're going to have the weight of that entire roll, plus you're going to have a little bit extra chicken wire to finish, because with this door here, it wouldn't have made it. I would have needed another few feet, 3-4 feet. Anyway, I guess this video is getting quite long. There you go. Hope that was helpful. And, you know, if you want to see more, I guess you should say subscribe. Give me a like. Maybe I'll make some more of other things I can show you for sure. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.